What's up guys, Barry Gaming here, back with some more AFK Journey, and today I want to talk about Mikola leading up to tomorrow's release on the global servers to see what the positives and the negatives of this hero are. We've already gone over her skill kit, we've gone over kind of like the good comparison between her and Smokey, since most people go for Smokey on their account, and today I want to talk to you about the pitfalls of this hero, the things that are not that great and the things to be wary of, because I know a lot of people love the art style of this hero too, but doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the best for your account if you really care about progressions. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Let's talk about Mikola. So here's the thing, I think this is probably one of the most highly anticipated heroes we've ever had in the game, up there maybe even with Taylene, just because we've seen Mikola for like 3 months ever since the Song of Strife season came out. They started using her in advertisements. Her hero art just is really cool, and I think a lot of people were hyped for another great support hero. Now, what we got with her was a great support hero, but only in certain situations from our initial testing. This is why I want to make sure you guys are clear. Please wait at least until like Saturday, Sunday this week. Let us get a couple days worth of videos out. Let us test her at, like, you know, Supreme Plus in PvP, in a bunch of different Dream Realm bosses. Do not be impatient on this hero, because this feels like one that you might finally use a bunch of your summons for. It might not be worthwhile. Let's just be honest. Most of her kit is still really good at the baseline here. However, there are a couple issues with her kit. I do like the fact that she does give physical and magic defense, which is really good, especially for like your front row tanks. The fact that she gives herself more attack means more buffs and more damage, which is really good. The one interesting part, like I said in the previous video, range 1 is interesting. This reminds me a lot of Niru, how Niru has to be right up in the enemy's face to be supporting. But it's not even that that's the biggest issue, because of course she moves around and she has that 2-tile sphere that goes down. She also has her honor arena that's like in the dead center of the battlefield. Having backline units is probably going to be one of the biggest downsides, because I want to show you guys an image here real quick. Let me pull it up real quick here. So as you know, this right here is essentially what we're looking at. Let me get a better zoomed in view of this. This right here is kind of what we're looking at for what the honor arena is. You can see it's basically these 3 tiles across the battlefield here that are the issue. And you'll notice everybody back here in the corner is essentially missing out on this buff, which is going to be really bad. It means you're going to have to really force your units to the front, maybe even putting your melee units in the back that are going to run forward, and put some of your typical range units right here in these front tiles, just so they get in that area. Now that also means that taking control and keeping control of that area is a lot more difficult, because especially in things like Dream Realm, you notice heroes like Odie, they're not going to move forward, they're going to stay back, while also having too many melee units means that they're going to go into these side areas. So really there's a couple heroes that really fit this sweet spot perfectly, in my opinion. And they're going to be a couple. One of them is, of course, the newest hero, Lily May, because she has a range of 3. Range of 3 is perfect to kind of stay in that area while also not taking those number 1 melee spots that need to be taken up, or that need to be really used properly. The other one is going to be the light bearer, Corrin. Corrin, of course, another really great PvE boss damage dealer. Once you get him to Mythic Plus, range of 2, that's another hero that's going to stay right in that sweet spot all the time. That allows you to potentially use heroes like Thorn, who's going to be, you know, buffing your overall damage on bosses. Let him get that front spot that's still within that honor area, and then herself, and then that kind of like fills up the rest of the area. Like I said, the only other downside here is you really want to have control of that battlefield, because one thing that you just need to have is you just need to have control of the honor arena for her to restore the HP per second and give that attack buff. It's when she controls that battlefield. You don't necessarily need to be in that battlefield, but having more units in that battlefield area, that honor arena, is going to be really good. Like I said, I've already reiterated the fact that giving 40% magical defense and physical defense is a huge amount. If you guys don't know, that's essentially what is it, the Supreme Plus? Yeah, it's like Supreme Plus. She gives like 50% of her own physical and magic defense, which is a huge buff, but straight up just giving like 40% is a big amount. But let's talk about what really makes this hero really strong. Mythic Plus is a offensive buff while also giving combat fury to her allies. So again, this is definitely a unit you're going to want to get Mythic Plus on, but to be honest, I really wouldn't even try to build this hero day one unless you plan to take her to Supreme Plus. And that's because of this right here. Mikola's Courage Sphere, which is the sphere that she creates with her ultimate skill, which only lasts 12 seconds, remains unaffected by duration if her side controls the honor arena. And again, this is another if statement. It's like there's so many things that need to happen properly to make it happen, but then when it does happen, it is insanely powerful, strong. So again, you basically don't have to worry about the duration of it. You're just always going to have this Courage Sphere up, which is important. Increases haste, physical range defense, which is really strong. Beyond that, she can do additional healing in this, and then when you, of course, if you're at Supreme Plus, you're already at Mythic Plus. That is when her damage can become very scary. 50% of her attack up to 70% of her attack is really big. Mikola's damage dealt per second to enemies adjacent to allies carrying that combat fury buff is equal to 70% of her attack. So building her even like within the season with like offensive attack oriented magic charms is going to be really big, because if you have 4 units, 5 well, I guess she can't have it, so 4 units around the enemy, that's 200% of her attack per second to the enemies. Now, of course, there's a lot of things going on here. You want to keep control of the honor arena so that she's getting that 20% bonus. She also is getting more attack here. Putting other units with her, like Smokey, within another 20% buff could be insane. And she just reminds me a lot of Ludovic. Ludovic has become like the strongest supporter on a lot of bosses, even better than Smokey, mainly because of his damage output is better than Smokey's while also having really good AoE healing. And again, she fits in that same similar role. So if you already have a Smokey maxed out, you already have a Ludovic maxed out, do you need Mikola? No, I think she's going to be a minor upgrade in certain game modes while being not as good in others. The one thing I will say is I feel like this hero might be very strong in a Mauler PvP team, a team that really focuses on, you know, like Shakir. The other hero I really love using in PvP is Soren. So if you went for Soren, I think this is going to be another hero that is a very good combination with them. I mean, maybe even Seth could be viable in this, I don't know, but you know, just going for that really offensive type team is going to be really important to keep control of this honor arena, giving tons of buffs, giving survivability. We just have to see how her survivability does at that max level, because if her survivability isn't up there, well, that kind of just defeats the whole purpose. So please wait, let us test. This is the 1 day warning before she comes out. We're just going to immediately take her to Supreme Plus and see what she can do in the end game. Maybe take her to Mythic Plus on the first day first, and then see what she can do without like the permanent Courage Sphere. We'll have to see. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. This hero is going to be either amazing or not great at all, depending on how you build her, I feel like, and we'll have to see on Thursday. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time.